Right, okay. So coming to stand somewhere where you've got some space, maybe feet a little bit wider than your hips so there can be a little bit of a bend into the knee and a swing. I want you to start to rotate, but I want this rotation happening from the middle of your body. So please don't worry about what your arms are doing. Just let them naturally turn from side to side with you. But get the movement happening from the floor up, from the ground up. So think about your feet. And this is a really great way to connect in with all the small, actually quite tiny bones within the feet, within the structure of the foot. And just getting them to start articulating, because all of the foot has about 33 joints in it, believe it or not. Because every time there's a bone next to a bone, there's a joint surface there. And those joint surfaces are slipperier than ice on ice. And they remain slippery because we use them. If we don't use them, the body says, oh, well, there's no point in keeping that area of the body hydrated. So we won't bother with wasting our energy there if it's not being used. So that's when our joint surfaces or structures start to dry out and we get problems. And so when we're doing like a really well-rounded yoga practice, as you guys are taking at the moment, is going to be making sure that all these different joints and joint surfaces are going to be staying strong and lubricated so that they can glide, because that's what they want. We want the different structures of the body, including the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the fascia. We want it all to be able to glide. And so when we do these twists at the beginning of our practice, we're just subtly making things strong, but also freeing up any areas where there is stiffness, where we've got stuck, where we feel a bit tight. And I want you to notice this. So as we do this warm up this morning, notice whether there are issues or areas of tightness in your body. And your job is not to force those areas to move in any way that they don't want to move, but to gently encourage a bit of space or a bit of movement there without force, okay? And making sure, please, that when you let your spine rotate, your head is freely turning as well. And that as you turn, there's a little bit of a bounce in the knees to encourage the like a shock absorber effect, to make the legs do the work here. All right. And then we're going to slowly slow this down and come back to a natural stop. And close the eyes for a moment, just stand and enjoy the sensation of space and energy beginning to move in your body. That's great. Okay, so we're going to do our arm swings now. So we're going to still stand in this same spot, but the arms come out to the side, and then one arm goes across the front, one arm goes behind the back, and you're reaching naturally, but not forcing. And then it's back to the center, and then reaching over to the other side. Center, reach, okay? And there's still that little bounce in the knees as the arms come down. But the little bit of a reach is going to be working. You can probably feel this in the sides, excuse me, of the rib cage and the waist. Good. Nice. And then we're going to slow this one down so that we can come back to the center and come leaning forwards a little bit so you can swing your arms in front of you. Alternating which arm goes in front And then when you're ready, crossing the elbows, bringing the arms into an eagle shape, standing upright for a moment, couple of circles with the shoulder, with the elbows, feeling the shoulder blades across, moving across the back of your body. Go the other way. And then 3 breaths. So we're going to inhale with a little bit of a bend to the knees. And as you inhale, the elbows move away and you inflate the back of your shoulder blades. Chin comes towards the chest. Then as you exhale, you come back to stand, okay? So it's just a little movement forwards, breathing in and out. Once again, breathing in. This time, as you breathe out, fold all the way down to the floor, bending the knees as much as you need, chin falling towards the chest, not worrying how deeply down you've come, it's not important, but just letting the back of the spine lengthen and breathe into the back of your body. Very good. When you feel ready, bend the knees a little bit more deeply, and then start to lift the front body as though you're coming into a little chair pose with eagle arms. And then come all the way up to stand and release the arms, and you can go back into a little bit of a swing. Okay, very nice. So remember which arm you had on top the last time. And the next time you come to the opposite side, ravel the arms back into your eagle position, stand up. Little circles with the elbows, maybe 3 in each direction, and allowing the back of the shoulder blade to move across the rib cage. Okay, and then 3 breaths. Inhaling to breathe the elbows forwards, chin towards the chest, back of the body inflates. Exhale to come back upright. Inhale forwards again, rounding through the top of the spine. Exhaling for back upright, okay? Last one, breathing in. And then with the little bit of a bend to the knees, folding yourself all the way down, really curving the spine, shin towards the chest, letting yourself softly lengthen towards the floor, but no force, remember. If you've got any niggles, be kind to yourself. Okay, and then when we're ready to inhale, bend the knees a little bit, let the bottom drop, and then lift up into a small chair pose on our journey up to stand, and then coming upright and releasing the arms. And just give them a little bit of a swing again from side to side. Freeing them, freeing up and creating, when we work these practices, we're really looking at increasing the lung capacity as well, or at least freeing up space around the rib cage so that we can rotate and side bend. And the more we do that, the more we release the structures, the more freedom we have for the breath to come in. And really, if you're thinking about your yoga practice and, you know, what should you do at home, where should you begin, it should be the breath. Okay, the breath is the first, the most important part of your practice. All right, let's just roll the wrists out briefly. So link the fingers together, pump the forearms up and down, and let the wrists do some circles in the air in front. And then change direction. You'd be pleased, we're not going to do too much on the hands today, okay? So not as heavy on the wrists or on the shoulders. All right, now swing that out. Okay, so I'd like you to bring your feet together, big toes together, outside edges of the feet parallel. Little bit of a bend to the knees. Legs stay still, but your hips, it's like you're belly dancing, okay? I want you to do your best job, imagining that you've got a belly dancing job later. You're just moving your body in preparation for it. I don't know, Saturday might be your night for this. Okay, so this might be preparation anyway. Whatever you're doing on Zoom later with your friends. Sorry, I need to get out more. It's been a while. Okay, so let's just do a few more of these. And then change direction. So think about your tailbone drawing a circle in the air behind you. Good job. And then coming up to stand. Very nice. Hands onto the hips, one foot behind the other, and a few circles with the heel rolling onto the top of the foot, giving the toes a really good stretch out. Good job. Go the other way. Nice. And then change feet, other foot behind, rolling. And changing direction. Go right onto the top of the foot, go right onto the top of the toes, so you can really stretch out the toes. Nice. And then change, release. Good job. Come to the back of your mat. Feet about hips width apart, please. You can have your arms forwards or hands onto your hips. If you want to be really strong about it, you could have your hands above your head. You're going to let your knees bend, lift your heels and see if you can crouch down as low as possible and then bring your knees down onto the floor. Now, if you've got difficulty in your knees, please maybe leave this out or put some extra padding under the knees if necessary. So you're going to lean back and you've got to do this with a bit of momentum to come back up to stand. Okay, let's do that again. So leaning, lowering down, and then knees gently coming to the floor, and then a bit of momentum to come back up again. Good, one more time, coming down, 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 slowly, slowly, knees come down. Good, and now this time, come back up, heels onto the floor, reach your arms into a chair pose. Keep your arms there, but lower down, lower down, lower down, knees come to the floor. Good job. And then back again, see if you can come into chair pose. Good, it's going to build some heat in your body. Knees are going to come down, see if you can keep your arms there. And then back up again, heels on the floor, bottom low, press into the heels. Good. And then forward fold. Soft knees, feet hips width apart, let the head hang. Maybe hold the elbows, have a little bit of a sway or a little bit of a move from side to side. Okay, and then you can crawl your hands forwards, bringing your knees gently down to the floor. Take your big toes together, knees nice and wide apart. Drop your bottom back towards your heels and bow your head down towards the ground. And be soft for a moment. Support with your block or with your hands if you need something underneath your forehead. Maybe you could stack this if you don't want to have your head down so low to the ground. I'm just thinking about, for a few moments, bringing some softness in. Breath into the back of the body again. Breathing out through the hips, through the tailbone, letting the pelvis sink towards the heels. Okay, one more lovely breath here. And then slowly floating up to an all fours position when you're ready. Maybe taking an inhale on the journey up. And as you exhale, rounding the back of your body into a cat stretch. Taking an inhalation and softly coming into cow pose, lifting the tailbone, letting the navel drop, and then exhaling into cat. So navel lifts, tailbone points down, shoulder blades spread. One more time, breathing in, cow pose, and breathing out into cat. Okay, so coming back to a neutral spine, leaving the knees underneath the hips. Can you walk the hands a little bit further forwards in front of your shoulders? And I want you to bend the left elbow, but slide the right arm forwards and bring your arm or your chest closer towards the floor. Then you're dragging the right hand back,
to its far forwards position, so same thing, then right elbow bends, left arm stretches forwards and you reach. Feel the stretching maybe underneath the armpit, underneath the ribcage. Slide that hand back in towards you, other arm stretching forwards, left elbow bends, right arm reaches, chest lowers. Come back, lifting up, and one more time, just reaching left fingers forwards, lowering chin and chest closer towards the ground, and coming back in and up. Good. Now take both hands slightly further forwards, please. Spin the upper arm bones. So remember how we've been externally rotating the upper arms quite a lot recently. And then lower, if you can, down, as though you're trying to bring your elbows closer together and your shoulder blades closer together. And then lift yourself back up. So this is melting heart pose. You're coming down, lowering chin to chest a little bit closer towards the floor. And then coming back up. One more time, lowering down. Good job. Then coming back up, walking the hands back underneath the body. Well done. I'd like you to lay down onto your tummy. Make a pillow for your forehead to relax your shoulders for a moment. All right. Make sure that the legs feel nice and long. And the front of the hips, you may be able to feel them against the mat, you may not, doesn't matter, but just think about keeping them balanced, keeping the front of the hips facing the floor so there's no twist happening. Legs nice and strong. I really want you to engage the muscles on the inner thighs, and I'd like you to lift a right leg. Keep it straight, keep the front of the hip pressed on the floor, doesn't matter how low or how high the leg is. Come down with the foot, go to the left side. Keep the leg straight, squeeze the inner thigh, press the front of the hip bone towards the mat. And come down. Alternate from side to side, relaxing your head and your shoulders and your upper body as much as you can. Keep going. Go at your own pace, nice and slow. Don't rush it. You want to enjoy this. Keep going. And we'll do last one on the left side. Make sure you finish on the left. And then just take a little bit of a rest, relax the legs, wiggle the hips if you need to. All right, both legs then this time. So you might not lift so high. You may want to bring the feet closer together for a stronger stretch. Keep squeezing the inner thighs and lifting both feet, both legs, straight legs, lengthen out through the toes. And come back down, okay? 2 more of these, please. Just lifting both legs, really focusing on the inner thighs and coming back down. One more time. Both legs lift. Good. And down. Super stuff. Pop your hands underneath your shoulders. Lift yourself up to an all fours position. Maybe take a brief cat pose on the journey out of your back bend. And then I'd like you to step your right foot forwards, please. If you want to, you can pad out your left knee by putting your block or rolling up the edge of your mat or using a blanket. Encourage your right knee to be directly above the ankle, and then lift yourself up onto your thigh. We're going to take a little bit of a lunge, but I want you to really work on the glutes. So really squeeze the left and the right, well, it depends what side we're on. But for this particular pose, when right foot is forwards, I want you to squeeze the left glute. And this helps to keep the hips nice and stabilized. Hands on top of each other on the thigh. We've done this fairly recently, so it's like cat and cow, but in a lunge position. So you're going to inhale, squeeze the glutes, but lift the heart. Notice the stretch on the front of the left thigh. And then you're coming back out of the lunge only slightly and rounding, but pointing your tailbone towards the ground. Navel draws in, chin comes towards the chest, and you might have a stretch now on the front of the left thigh. Then you're coming back, squeezing the glutes, coming up, front of the left hip feels nice and spacious. And then gently pressing the tailbone down, drawing the navel in, chin towards the chest. So one more of these. This should feel quite subtle. It's not a big movement. And you don't need to go super strong into it to get the benefits. Gently coming into the exhale. Good job. And then we'll gently lower the hands down towards the floor. Step the right foot back. You can swap your block arrangement over if you use one and step your left foot forwards. Okay, so we're coming up, not a massive distance between the feet, and we don't want to overdo it just yet, but hands can rest onto the thigh. Remember to squeeze the right glute this time. When we come up, really squeeze the glute, straighten the arms, lift the chest, feel the stretch on the front of the right hip. Then we come out of it slightly, tailbone really tucks downwards, chin comes towards the chest, the elbows bend. We don't come very far forwards with our forward fold, but we just enough to feel it. Breathing in, so 2 more of these. Squeeze the glutes, lift the chest, feel the lovely strength of your legs. And then gently folding forwards, creating space down the back body. Watch what is happening in your neck and the back of your neck. Last one, breathing in, glutes firing, lifting the chest up, and then gently coming forwards. Tailbone tucks down, chin towards the chest. Good. Place the hands down onto the floor, step the left foot back, swap your blocks over again, just one more change of position coming up. And this is where you might want to use your blocks if you like. So you could have them on the either side of the mat to rest your hands on. You don't have to have them at all. You could have them lower down if you need just a little bit of extra height. So we're doing a half splits, and you can rest your fingers on the floor if you don't want to use your blocks. Roll your toes off of the floor, take your sit bones backwards and down, but then think about moving the right sit bone forward slightly and pressing into the right heel. And then you're coming forwards to back out of it a little bit and then backwards again. Really press the heel, but at the same time move the right hip forwards. It seems counterintuitive, but you'll get a better stretch down the back of your right leg. Last one, just coming forwards to break it up a little bit and then coming backwards. Remember to press the heel, but lean the right hip slightly further forwards for that stretch. Good job. Come out of it, step the right foot back, swap over your blocks, if you have your support for your knee. Left foot forwards this time, half splits, stretch for the hamstrings so the toes curl up off the floor, press the heel but move the left hip slightly forwards and then come forwards and back out, backwards again. Just going forwards and back at your own pace, thinking about left hip moving forwards as you press the heel in. Last one, coming back. Good. And then this time, you can take your blocks, if you use them, just push them forwards because we might use them again in a bit. You're going to come off of your right knee, just take that support out of the way and step all the way to the top of your mat for a standing forward fold. So you can let the tummy draw in towards the spine slightly. You can bend the knees as much as you wish to. Maybe hold the elbows again. Drop the chin towards the chest. Okay, so we're just pausing, stretching out both legs this time, feeling the difference in the back of the legs. And then let's pop the hands on the shins just below the knees. Take an inhalation and lengthen the spine forwards, looking along the floor in front of you. And then exhaling to fold back down towards the thighs, chin towards the chest. 2 more of these, breathing in, arms straightening, spine lifting, sit bones high, and then breathing out to round back down. Last one, breathing in, coming all the way up to half Uttanasana, and then folding down. Okay, we're going to come up to stand now. So slowly does it. You've been down low for a while, so slowly curl yourself up. And we'll bring the hands high above the head. Sweep them up, reaching up, looking up towards your thumbs, and then exhaling, bring the hands down in front of the heart.
Pausing here, just gathering your thoughts, your awareness. And what's so lovely is when we practice this style of yoga, for me anyway, I think that this is vinyasa yoga, where you flow from one pose into the next. And it allows you to have that meditative experience whilst you're practicing. Because when you drop into the sequence, drop into the flow, you do lots of poses you're familiar with, and it allows you to just switch off for a minute. So it has that opportunity, that characteristic. Okay, so we're going to work through some gentle sun salutes, but we're going to build stuff into them quite quickly. First up, I want you to release the arms back down by your sides, take them out wide above your head and hold one wrist, don't mind which one it is, and lean over, swaying palm tree pose, just gently lengthening the arm, but lifting the rib cage towards the ceiling. Coming back towards the center, swapping hands over, taking your swaying palm tree over to the other side. Reaching, lifting the rib cage, and back to center. Lovely. Reach all the way up. Come into chair pose. So knees bend, sit bones start to lower, hands stay high, or they can be in front of your heart. If you have high or low blood pressure, it's not so great to have the hands in the air for too long. So feel free to bring them in front of your heart whenever you need to. Take another breath in here. And as you breathe out, bowing all of the way back down to the ground, head starts to hang down towards the floor. Halfway lift, hands to the shins, breathing in. As you breathe out, place the fingertips on the floor and step back with the with the left foot. My mistake. So make sure right foot is forwards, left foot is back. If you want to put your left knee on the floor, you can do, or you can leave it elevated as I am. We're coming up into a balancing warrior. So breathing in, and the arms will lift all the way up to the ceiling. Press back through the left heel. Squeeze the left glute. Keep the right leg, inner thigh nice and firm. Breathe in here. As you breathe out, we're folding halfway down and the arms will swing out behind us, like we're coming into aeroplane pose, but we've got the left foot still on the ground. Breathe in again. We're going to do 2 more of these. So coming up, just keeping your balance, left leg stay straight. Remember, you can have the knee on the floor. Exhale, folding forwards, half fold. Try not to rest your body weight onto your thigh. And again, breathing in. Lovely stuff. Breathing out. Good. Leaning forwards, arms reaching back, fingertips back. Then lower the fingertips to the floor. Step back into a high plank position. Shoulders over the wrists, both heels pressing back. Knees down to the floor, give those legs a bit of a break. Spin your upper arm bones backwards, bring your chin and your chest down in front of your hands, and then lifting up into cobra, untucking the toes, firm the legs. Coming down a little bit, lift up to hands and knees. Find yourself into a downward dog. Just pause it out here for a moment or two. So first real down dog of the morning. So give the upper arm bones, externally rotate them, spin them outwards. Softness in the tummy so that you can lift the sit bones towards the ceiling. And think about knitting together the front of your rib cage. So we're not trying to collapse the ribs towards the floor. In fact, there's a slight elevation to the front of the ribs. Okay, just take another breath here. All right, so we're going to float the shoulders over the wrists again. And we're going to bring the left knee forwards. So bring the left knee under the chest. Do a little bit of a curl up. This is good for the abs. And then step the left foot forwards if you can. So same thing, we're going to do 3 of these. Breathing in, coming up into a balancing warrior. Remember, the right knee can stay on the floor. As you breathe out, we're folding forwards, arms reaching back. Heart goes forwards, gaze is in front of you along the floor. Breathing in and coming up, pressing back through the right heel, strong glutes. Breathing out, leaning forwards. That's number 2. Last one, breathing in, coming all the way up. Breathing out. Good. Like a warrior 3 or aeroplane pose, but not quite there yet. Fingertips can come down to the floor. We're going to step forwards. So a bit of momentum off the back leg. Step the right foot to the top of the mat. Hang yourself down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift, breathing in. Breathing out, folding forwards. Breathe out, breathe in, sorry, arms wide. Come all the way up to stand. Look at your thumbs. Breathe out. Gently bring your hands down to rest in front of your heart. And breathe. Okay, just take a moment, an opportunity to pause. Good, and we're back to pretty much where we began. So we're going to add a couple of other things into our sequence now. So let's breathe in, release the arms, bring them up above the head, hold on to one wrist. Take a little lean over to one side as you exhale. As you inhale, come back to the center, swap hands, exhale, other side. Lift the ribcage. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, come into chair pose. Bend the knees. Keep lifting the arms. You don't have to look up, just look forwards. But see if you can get some heat into the legs by bending the knees deeply, keeping the legs strong. Breathe in. As you exhale, fold all the way down to the floor, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, breathing in. And breathing out, folding down again. Good. We're going to leave the right foot where it is. Step the left foot all the way back down to the mat. Bending the right knee, make sure it's above the ankle. Remember, you can pretty much do this, well, actually, probably try to keep the left knee off of the floor if you can. Breathing in, up into balancing warrior. Very nice. As we breathe out, we're releasing the arms backwards, coming into aeroplane pose. Now, if you like, you're going to lift the back foot off of the floor. Don't worry if you feel a bit wobbly. Come with me. Reaching back through the left foot, arms back. So we're into our aeroplane pose proper. Good. And then remember those blocks you left at the front of the mat. You could put your hands onto them and lift your left leg higher up into the sky for standing splits. Keep the hips level if you can. Drop the head down low. Good. And then bending the right knee, reaching the left foot all the way back down to the mat again. You've done it. Well done. Hands either side of the front foot. Step back to a very welcome high plank position. Good. All right. Knees come down. Spin the upper arm bones backwards. Bend the elbows, bring the chin and the chest to the floor in front of the hands. Then heart lifts up, toes untuck, Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Come down a little bit, lift up to hands and knees, find downward dog. Good. Okay, so just pause for a second before we do the left leg. So think about pressing into the thumb and index fingers. Press them into the floor. As you press them into the floor, externally rotate your upper arm bones. Feel what happens into the back of your shoulders as this occurs, because we want to activate these muscles here, so we're not hanging in the joints, we're keeping ourselves nice and strong. Okay, let's take left foot up to the sky, reach it up high. Float shoulders over the wrists and bring the left foot to the top of your mat. Give it a helping hand if it needs it. Breathe in, come up, balancing warrior, reaching up. Aeroplane pose, so arms come back and down, heart leans forwards. Option to stay here, or if you want, you're coming with me and floating the right leg off of the floor, fingertips reaching backwards. Then the hands can come down to the bricks or down to the floor, head lowers, right foot lifts up, standing splits. Think about all that strength in your left leg you're cultivating.
Good, then let's bring the right foot down to the top of the mat alongside the left foot. You can bring the feet together if you want to and fold all the way down to the ground. Uttanasana next, so bending the knees, sit bones sink down, lifting the arms up, looking forwards, squeeze the inner thighs, breathe, good. Come up to stand, all the way up, reaching up, and then exhale, bring the hands down to rest in front of your heart. Close your eyes. Gather your breath. Breathe in and out. All right. So we're going to add in a little bit more stuff along the way. First of all, let's release the arms. Breathe in. Bring the arms wide all the way up above your head. Hold on to one wrist and lean gently, swaying palm tree. Inhale back to center. Exhale over to the other side. Good. Inhale to center. Reach up, Utkatasana, chair pose. Nice. Folding down as you breathe out all the way down to the ground. Halfway lift when you get there, breathing in, breathing out. This time step back into a plank position, please. All the way back, so feet traveling back down to the end of your mat. And hold this here for a moment. Okay, so we're going to do just a little bit of upper body work now. And I want you, if you need to, you can put your knees on the floor for this. If you can, keep the legs straight, it's up to you. You're going to lower your right elbow down to the floor, then your left elbow. Then put your right hand back on the floor, lift up, back to plank. Good, so you've got the idea. We're going to do left side lead now. Left forearm down, right forearm down. Left palm, right palm. Good, one more on each side. Right forearm, left forearm. Right palm, left palm. Last set, left arm, right forearm. Left palm, right palm. Good. Pop your knees down. Take your bottom backwards towards your heels. Turn your palms up. Let your head bow down towards the ground. Okay, another breath. And then turning your palms back down, floating forwards to come up to hands and knees. Good. As you exhale next, round into a cat stretch. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Inhale to cow. As you exhale, start to move the pelvis back into that tilt as though you're coming into cat pose. Keep that there so the tailbone's pointing down towards the ground, but tuck your toes under and send your hips back. Keep pressing the tailbone in that tucked position, tucked under. Notice how this engages your tummy muscles, makes you use your abs on the front of your body. Long, nice arms. Let's externally rotate the upper arm bones. Very nice. Good job. We're gently going to walk the hands back up towards the top of the mat. And you're going to hang forwards towards the floor. Breathe in, come all the way back up. Hands come together above your head. Exhale down to your heart. All right. Okay, so we're going to add in a little bit more. We just did a little bit of a break there.
We're going to add in a couple more poses. So breathing in, arms wide, come all the way up. Swaying palm tree. Exhale to one side, hold the wrists, lift the ribcage. Inhale to center, swap sides. Exhale. Inhale to center. Now release the arms into a cactus so they look like this. As you breathe in, take the elbows back, lift the chest. Reach the arms up, come into Utkatasana on the exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, fold forwards and down, all the way down. Halfway lift, breathe in, hands to shins. Exhale, fold down. Fingertips on the floor, right foot stays where it is. Stride the left foot all the way back. Left knee can come down if you want to. Left hand can stay on the floor or on a brick. Right hand's going to turn and lift up to the ceiling. So you're twisting towards your bent knee, reaching up through the right fingers, looking up if you can, pressing back through the left heel. Left leg nice and strong, keep the right knee bent. Good. Bringing the right hand back down to the floor. I want you to lower the left heel. So we're going to come up to stand here, coming up into, you're going to face the left hand side of your mat. So it's going to look like I've got my back to you, but don't worry, we're going to do lots of poses, you know. So you're going to cartwheel the arms up so you can come up to stand. So just bring the arms out to shoulder height and spin the right toes. So you've got both toes, left and right, pointing to the corners of your mat. The heels are in. Lowering down into a horse squat, arms coming out to the side. Just hold this here for a moment. Breathing in. Keep asking the sit bones to move closer together, the tailbone to point down, lift the heart. Good. Then bring the hands to the hips. You're going to the left now, so spin your left toes. They're going to point to the end of your mat. Spin in your right toes and come into a warrior two, looking down the left fingertips into the distance. It doesn't matter that you're not facing the right way, you're going to come back in a minute. Just hold this here. Very nice. Breathe in and out. Hands come back to the hips, straighten the left leg, spin the toes back in so the right toes now can turn out. Bend the right knee, arms can come back up, reach into your warrior two-ing on this side now. Right forearm onto the right thigh, left arm alongside the ear for side angle pose. Breathe in, feel that lovely stretch now into the side of the waist, side of the hip. You can look towards your left thumb if you like. Then we're cartwheeling back, left hand comes to the thigh, right arm lifts to the sky, reach it all the way up. Then we're cartwheeling down, so fingertips are going to come to the floor, spin up the left heel, so we're back to here. Step back to a high plank. Good. Knees down. Rotate the upper arm bones back, chin and chest to the floor. Through cobra pose, legs strong. Come down. Lift up hands and knees. Tuck under your toes and you're into downward dog. All right. Pause for a minute and breathe. Okay. So we're going to step the left foot forward so we can do that little sequence on the left hand side. So float your shoulders forwards, bring your left knee underneath your body, curl up a little bit, and then left foot steps forwards. Very nice. Right hand can stay on a block if you need a bit of extra height. Left hand's going to come up to the sky, look up towards your left thumb, keep the left knee bent, press back through the right heel, and breathe. Good. Then let's lower the hand down and we're going to spin the right heel to the floor and cartwheel the arms up and over. So we're almost into a warrior two, but we're now going to spin the toes so we can come into a horse pose. So bending the knees, tailbone points down, keep the heels nice and strong. Good job. Hold it here, build the strength, you can do it. And then hands to hips. You're going to turn to the back of the mat for warrior two. So turn the left toes in, the right knee bends, arms come up to shoulder height, look down, right fingertips into the distance, and hold this lovely position of steadiness and strength. Good. Just the same way that we externally rotate the upper arm bones, when you're in this pose, think about externally rotating the upper thighs. Lovely. Okay, breathe in. Bring your hands back to your hips. Straighten the front leg. You're going to spin all the way back so you're now facing the top of your mat again. Make sure that the right toes have spun in. Bend the left knee. Forearm can come onto the thigh and you're cartwheeling the right arm alongside your ear for side angle pose. You can look towards your right thumb. Good. Take a breath. And then gently inhale and cartwheel back. Reverse your warrior. Right hand comes down, left hand cartwheels up and over. And breathe. Good. Then back down to the floor. Left hand comes down, right hand follows, spinning up the right heel. Okay, you're going to step back. Pop the knees down onto the floor, untuck your toes, and pause with a little bit of a rest, child's pose or any other position you need for comfort. You're going to take maybe 5 really lovely breaths here. Good job. Okay, so we're going to roll through this sequence one more time, putting the 2 halves of it together. And then we'll come down to the mat to do some stretches to cool down for the finish. Okay. So when you're ready, please, let's slide the fingertips forwards. Inhale to float back up to an all fours. As you exhale, round the back body into a cat stretch. As you inhale, come into cow pose. Tilt the pelvis forwards. Tuck the toes under. Find downward dog next. Breathing out when you're ready. Externally rotating the upper arm bones. Thinking about lifting the sit bones, but knitting the front ribs together so you feel the stability in your upper body, not hanging into your shoulder joints. Okay, you're then going to, I'm going to have to ask you to pause for a minute, just pop your knees down onto the floor, untuck your toes, just take a rest for a moment. Just take a couple of breaths. I've got Matilda in the house on her own and I just need to go and check something. One sec. Sorry, I can't leave Matilda until I could hear the doorbell ringing and I knew that she would answer the door on her own. Okay, she's talking to me. All right. Okay, so a little pause. Hope that gave you a chance to either rest for a bit longer or have a little sip of water. Okay, so we're back to here. Back to our long arm child's pose. Excuse me. And we're going to inhale. Excuse me.
Coming all the way back up to all fours. Exhale into cat stretch. Inhale into cow. Tucking under your toes as you do so. Bottom starts to move back and you unravel the backs of the legs as you come into downward dog. Good. Look forwards to the top of your mat. Walk your feet up to where your hands are and fold down for Uttanasana. Inhale all the way up to stand, please. Arms come wide. Palms together above your head. Look up. Reach through the front body. And then exhale, hands to your heart. Take a breath here as you gather yourself standing upright. Okay. Let's inhale. Arms come wide and high above your head again. Hold on to one wrist. Exhale out to the side. Inhale back to the center. Exhale to the other side. Keep lifting the rib cage as you lengthen the arm. Inhale to center. Exhale to cactus arms, chest forwards, elbows back. Lift the arms up, Utkatasana, bending the knees, sinking the sit bones down, lifting the heart. Breathing in. As you breathe out, folding all the way down to the ground, Uttanasana again. Halfway lift, breathing in. Good job. Place your fingertips onto the floor. Right foot stays where it is. Step the left foot back as far as you can. Breathing in. Arms come up. Balancing warrior. Breathing out. Leaning forwards. Aeroplane pose. Stay here if you need to. Or float the left leg off of the floor. Come into a balancing aeroplane. Hands come down to the ground or onto the bricks. Chin comes towards the chest. Left leg lifts higher, standing splits. Good. Bending the right knee a little bit. Striding the left foot all the way back down to the end of your mat. Bending the right knee. Left hand stays on the floor. Right hand lifts. Spin around for a twist. Breathe. As you exhale, lower the hands down. Spin the left heel to the floor. Cartwheel the arms all of the way up to horizontal. You're turning to the left-hand side of your mat and coming down into horse pose. Good. Tailbone points towards the floor. Legs nice and strong, arms out wide. Okay, so now we're coming into warrior two, facing the back of your mat. So spin the right heel out, spin the left toes to point to the back, bend the left knee, externally rotate the upper thigh bone so you can feel your glutes working. Breathe in and out. Good. On your next inhalation, straighten the left leg, reach the arms up, and then turn to the other end of your mat, spinning on the toes, bending the right knee, forearm comes onto the thigh and reaching the left arm alongside your ear. So a long line of stretch all the way down the left-hand side of your body. Good. When you're ready to breathe in, cartwheel, left arm cartwheels back, right arm cartwheels up and over, reverse warrior. Good. Back down to the floor. Right hand comes down, left hand comes down, spin up the left heel, step back to a plank position. Well done, you're doing brilliantly. Knees down to the floor. Externally rotate the upper arm bones, bring the chin and the chest down. Heart goes forwards, Bhujangasana, strong legs. Lowering down a little bit, lifting up to hands and knees, finding downward dog pose. Just pause and breathe. Take a nice big breath in, open the mouth and sigh the breath away. Do this again, breathing in and out. Good. We're going to come up to the top of the mat. So walk the feet forward. Step all the way up to Uttanasana, hanging down. Inhale to stand, arms wide. Breathe in, hands to heart. Breathe out. Okay, well done. Just gather yourself. We've got the left side to do. Well done, everyone. Okay, so let's breathe in, arms wide, all the way up. Hold on to one wrist, side bend, lifting the rib cage. Inhale to center, swap hands, lean to the other side, left body stretch. Back to center, cactus arms, soft knees, squeeze the inner thighs, chest forwards, elbows back. Good, then Utkatasana, arms lengthen, knees bend, sink down, strong legs. This is building loads of heat in your body. Folding all the way down, standing forward fold, breathing out. On an inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, lengthen spine. Exhale to fold. Good, left foot stays where it is, right foot steps back. Balancing warrior, breathing in, lifting up, facing forwards, pressing the right heel back. Exhale, folding forwards to aeroplane, arms release back, reaching backwards through the fingers. If you can, lifting the right leg off of the floor, finding a balancing aeroplane. Keep the toes pointing down to the floor, make your glutes work even more. Then lowering the hands down, maybe onto your blocks, chin towards the chest, and lift the right foot up towards the sky. Let it hang, let your head hang a little bit more. Very good. Then bending the left knee some, taking the right foot, striding it back down to the end of the mat, finding your steadiness. Remember, right knee can come to the floor. Right hand stays. You can turn the right fingers out a little bit. Left hand lifts up, reaching up, looking up towards your thumb. Breathing here. Good. Then exhale when you're ready, lowering left hand down. Spinning the right heel to the floor so you can come round to the side of your mat. Let's inhale, lift all the way up, reach the arms up. Spin the toes out, bring the heels in. Exhale, come down. Good. Hold this here. Tailbone points down. Inner thighs working strong. Good job. Warrior two to face the back of your mat. So you can turn your hands down. Turn your right toes to point to the back. Left toes spin in. Find warrior two position. Look down, right fingertips. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. All right, breathe in, arms lift up, straighten the front leg, spin the toes, so the left toes now point to the top of the mat, the right toes turn in, and you're coming into side angle, so left up forearm onto thigh, right arm alongside ear, you can look towards your thumb. Right leg strong and straight. Outside edge of the foot presses into the floor. Cartwheel back, right arm comes back, left arm curls over, stretch out left side, keep the left knee bent, and then it's cartwheeling, hands come down to the floor, well done. Spin up the back heel, you've got this, we've pretty much done now. Step back to a plank position, last little bit, knees down, externally rotate the upper arm bones, chin and chest down, forwards and up into cobra, backwards into downward dog. Well done. Just pause and breathe. Think about pressing the thumb and the index finger into the floor, externally rotating the upper arm bones, lifting the sit bones, but not letting yourself hang into the front of the ribs. Keep the front of the ribs knitting together. All right. And then I'd like you to float your knees down onto the ground. Come into child's pose. Let yourself be soft. Shoulders can relax. Enjoy the beating sound of your heart. And allow the breath to help slow the beating of the heart. All right, a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, coming slowly upright, we're going to come to sit. And I'd like you to sit sideways on your mat. So we're going to come into Upper Vista Konasana. So this is a wide leg forward fold. Now I've put a block underneath my sitting bones. If you want to sit on a blanket or a block, go for it. And I'd encourage you to take your feet as wide apart as you can, but then to press out through the heels and keep the toes fairly high too. So there's activity in the legs. You're not just letting the legs be soft here. I want you to feel as though you are pressing the back of the legs into the floor, and there's a little bit of engagement in the quads on the top of the thighs. However, I like to angle the pelvis a little bit. So to do that, I bring the fingertips to the floor behind my thighs, and I lift up slightly to take my sit bones further back, and this encourages the tilt of the pelvis. Some of you will be able to do this really easily, and for some it's really quite sticky in this area. So please don't worry, but remember that the pelvis tilting is in essence your forward fold. Okay, the spine shouldn't really change shape. Although we allow it to, we bring the chin to the chest, it's fine. But we need to work these structures around the hips, the pelvis, into the groin, that sort of thing. So keep the legs nice and straight and long, heels away, toes up. Bring the fingertips onto the floor initially and just lean forwards. Feel that lean, that tilt coming from the hips, tilting forwards. If you get any discomfort in your lower back, please back out a bit. You need to keep your spine more upright and just allow the pelvis to tilt without you going into the lower back, okay? So that's one way to do this. Some people like to take their fingertips to the floor behind the thighs because that encourages your shoulders to stay back and for you to keep the spine long without that collapsing or hunching into the lumbar spaces. Some people like to hold on to the feet and use that to help keep them moving in the forwards direction. But remember, we're looking for a stretch here, okay? So if you're feeling a stretch, maybe in the back of the legs, maybe in the thighs, maybe around the pelvis, then you're doing the pose, okay? It doesn't matter how close you get to the floor. And to be fair, for me today, this is it. This is as far as it's going. Maybe I could get my elbows onto the floor. And if I was to do this consistently for every day, for maybe 6 months or a year, I might get my face on the floor. But I don't have time to do that. So sadly, this is where it's at. And it changes every day, every week. It's a little bit different. And some days feel very much more flexible and other days I just don't. Okay, so let's take an inhalation. Let's come back upright. Well done. We're going to turn to face one leg. So don't mind which way you go. Doesn't matter which leg. You're going to bring your hands either side of the thigh. And what we're aiming for is the shoulders to be in the same straight line as the other leg. Okay, so you've got a bit of rotation and we're going to take a side bend. So you're going to tilt towards this leg and you could bring your elbow onto the leg and rest your head in your hand. Some of you will be able to hook around your big toe and reach for your foot. And you could just hang out here I like to sometimes put my arm behind the back of the body because it stops my shoulder kind of rolling forwards. I want to try to keep my shoulders in the same straight line as my leg. Some of you might like to take your arm up to the ceiling, and this will give you more length and space along the side of your body. Okay, some of you might like to cartwheel and bring the arms over, bring the hands together and lean and breathe. Now, you can cheat a little bit to do this. You can roll forwards to bring the hands together, and then you can let yourself the shoulder roll back. But remember, you're trying to keep the shoulders in the same line as that straight leg. That's looking good, everyone. Well done. Okay, take another breath here. And then we'll come back up to stand, or sit, sorry. Good job. Okay, so we'll do the same thing on the other side. So turning to face the leg, face the thigh, hands either side of the thigh, shoulders in as close a straight line to that leg as you can. Then bringing the arm, it doesn't matter, it could just be the hand. The back of the hand is quite nice to rest on the thigh as you start your journey towards bringing yourself closer towards it. Remember, hand can rest behind the back body. And I find that that's actually really nice, but a more gentle, rather than striving to try to get close to the leg. By all means, if you want to go further, you can find your foot, you can hold on to your foot anywhere. Some people like to tuck their hands underneath their thighs. That's the start of coming into a turtle pose, but that's for another day. Okay, so coming up, if you want to lift the arm, that gives you that extra little bit of length down the side body. Breathe. You could go for the full cartwheel. Notice that one side is maybe completely different to the other side. Even though you think you work it equally, two sides of the body, they don't match up. They're not the same. Okay, taking another 2 breaths here. Very nice. And then coming back upright, back to the center when you're ready. Giving the inner thighs a bit of a rub and easing the legs closer back. You might need to rub along the outside of the thighs. Yeah, well done. Okay, come to lay down, please. We're going to finish with a lying twist, and then we'll take a little bit of Shavasana. If you want to stay in Shavasana longer, past 10 o'clock, by all means, pause your video after the twist, or once I get you into Shavasana, so you can stay for as long as you wish. Okay, so coming down to lay on your back, and hug your knees in towards your chest. Good. Keep a hold of the right knee, slide the left foot down away from you and squeeze the right knee towards you. Hold it with the left hand, take the right arm out to the side and roll the knee across towards the left. Maybe turn the gaze to the right and pause here, bringing some softness into the body. Take another breath or two. Okay. And then making your way back to the center, hugging both knees in and keeping hold of the left knee, sliding the right leg down, breathing in. And as you breathe out, taking the knee across the body, left arm out to the side, maybe and turning towards the left as you drop the knee over to the right. Another couple of breaths. And then making your way back to the center, hugging both knees in towards your chest again. Having a little rock, side to side. And then sliding your feet away from you, down to the ends of the mat, the corners of the mat. Let the legs be nice and long, let the toes roll out to the sides. Turn the palms up towards the ceiling. And take a moment to spread out and settle down and bring yourself into as comfortable lying position as you can. Breathe in, big breath in, open the mouth, breathe out. Again, breathing in and out. One more time. And with this, letting the back of the body become deeply connected to the earth. Allowing yourself to sink into her hold. And let her cradle you as you rest, relaxing your body completely. Shavasana is the most important of all the poses. And after you've worked hard in your practice, as you have all done this morning, this is the reward, the space, the opportunity to do nothing. Be completely still. To listen to the quiet coming and going of your breath. So if you'd like to stay in your Shavasana for a little bit longer, by all means do. If you're ready to end your practice now, then start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Turn your head from side to side gently. And then take a stretch out any way that feels good. When you feel ready, roll yourself over to one side, and you can make yourself slowly round and up to sit. Well done, everyone. Come and sit comfortably, doesn't matter how you finish. And then when you're ready, you can take your fingertips down by your sides. On an inhalation, sweep the arms up high above your head. And as you exhale, bring the hands down to rest in front of your heart. Soften the shoulders, release the jaw, and breathe gently in and out a few more times. Sit and enjoy that glow that your yoga practice gives you. And may that glow brighten the whole of your day yet to come. Taking another breath, opening your eyes. Well done to you all. Namaste. Very good work. And look forward to seeing you later. See you tomorrow, maybe.